Hey guys, Buddha here bringing you another Starcraft 2 replay cast. This game will be on Metalopolis and it features our first green Zerg player here, EG.Idra. Of course, Idra very well known in the Starcraft 2 community, known for his, and I air quote this, his bad manners and his rage quits. Idra, of course, is one of the best players in the world, considered by most the best non-Korean player in the world. His opponent here will be the Red Protoss WhiteRa, also known as WhiteRa. He actually won the Starcraft one-day open that took place this weekend. Of course, this is not a game from the tournament. It is an older game that I found on a replay site. It was very well ranked, so let's see what will happen in this game. Of course, I do not watch these games before they happen, so I am in the heat of the moment while casting them. WhiteRa still chrono boosting, of course, his probes. Nothing too fishy going on for both these players. Idra actually recently has shown us very interesting strategies. He used to be known for an all-out macro player and used to lose to cheeses a lot because of course you do not want to go into a macro game against Idra, but recently we've seen a lot of different plays from Idra, including drops, niduses, anything you can probably imagine or have ever seen. Idra now going for actually for a 15 hatch or 16, since he did use a drone here, so quite a late hatch against Protoss. Protoss though usually do not put any kind of early pressure, especially on this map because it is so wide open. A cannon rush not very effective because you can't actually wall off behind the minerals or at the bottom of the ramp unless you put down 3 pylons, and that is very costly. Now Idra throwing down his spawning pool, one probe making its way into the main, seeing everything. First gas now going down for Idra, so we will be seeing a speedling opening during that time. WhiteRa did put down his first gateway, now building his cybernetics core, still mining off only 1 gas, so very standard play by both these players. 1 pylon going down, but this isn't to do anything tricky. It's just to force Idra to pull probes off the mineral lines. Of course, there isn't even a forge here, so nothing can be done with that pylon. Kind of works though. Idra did pull off about 7 drones just to deal with it, so being scared a bit here into pulling drones and losing mining time, well worth the cost of that first pylon being cancelled. Now the first 2 lings out for Idra, gonna pick off this probe going to try and go back home. Of course, if you are running a probe from non-speedlings, the trick is to actually click once in your base and do not spam it, because the spam obviously has to recalculate the route that the probe will take, and it will make him stutter just a bit, and the lings will actually catch up to him a bit faster. Now second gateway going down for WhiteRa here. I will be calling him WhiteRa for the rest of the replay here. By the way, he is mining his second gas, so we might be seeing a very sentry heavy expand here. Meanwhile, Idra already has his 2 queens up, going for a very long macro game. Stop mining gas, actually still has 1 drone mining gas here just to get that lair eventually. We see a creep tumor, very important creep spread will be starting right away. A lot of larvae saved up, but no money. That is why he actually decided to put that creep tumor instead of injecting larvae. He can't just yet produce off of all these larvae. Now already putting a 3rd hatchery down, so he really wants to go into that very long macro game. Of course, WhiteRa already has his second base, so no pressure will be coming from WhiteRa anytime soon. We see 1 probe going actually to check for possibly a 3rd. No, he will go down to that second base and be intercepted by that queen as soon as he gets there. You can see Idra actually moving his queen forward already. That probe will decide to go check for the 3rd base. He will spot it, and 4 sentries already here for WhiteRa. Another pylon going down on the low ground, and we actually see a robotics facility going down, so we do see his first tech choice here, going off 3 bit gates and 1 robo into the expansion. Very common play here. Roach Warren going down for Idra, so very standard game here by these two players. Of course, very macro oriented. We will see a huge economy from these two players. Now a ton of sentries from WhiteRa. We actually see 6 of them, and most of them have enough for 2 force fields or close to it. You see these first ones actually have almost 100 energy. Now still chrono boosting his Nexus, really wants to get that economy going. You can actually see it closing in on the Zerg player, which is very unusual here for a Protoss. Of course, Idra, very good macro player that he is, will be producing more drones. Now picking off 1 sentry, very nice. Might get the second one, actually does get it. Good trade here, a few links for 2 sentries, always a good trade. And now he even has one in the main base, gonna be able to scout everything that's going on. First Immortal going down for WhiteRa. Now moving out with 4 sentries, a Stalker and a Zealot. Won't be able to do much and turns around. +1 starting for Idra. And actually only 1 worker killed by both these players. Of course, those were the scouting drones and probe. Now fifth gas I mean, going down for Idra. He does have his lair tech already finished, and we will soon be seeing a tech choice, I am guessing. We actually see drops going down for, actually this is speed and glio restitution, so Roach speed and Overlord seeds speed. I really hope we do see drops here from Idra, because his drop play has been so good lately. Now he will be scouting the front of the base with some lings. Of course, WhiteRa putting down his 3rd already. Very small force here. Might be vulnerable to a few lings and roaches. But since he did scout Idra's 3rd, WhiteRa does feel very safe expanding behind this small army. Now the lings making their way to the front of the expansion. He will try and run a few lings back here, trying to pick off 1 probe. Does that 1, so a small win here, not losing a single ling in the process. Will run into this army and die. Now the Overlord's in position to scout if he needs to. We actually see 2 more gateways and Twilight Council going down for WhiteRa. His 3rd base almost finishing. Idra not going for a 4th base yet, so he will be making only attacking units from now on and try to bust the front. Burrow starting almost done for Idra. He will be putting some pressure as soon as that missile attack level 1 and tunneling claws finish. So if he can manage to take out this cannon, I don't believe that any observers are on the map or in position to help with this. 1 Immortal being caught off walking around the map, being picked off very easily. Now nice force fields from WhiteRa, splitting this army in half, but a lot of roaches here. They will be targeting down this cannon just to be able to burrow right after that. There it goes, and we will see a small retreat. Idra not choosing to reveal burrow just yet, so the observer, if there is one on the map, there it is, very far away, so the observer can't come back in time. Engaging again here, he will burrow to get out of the way of these force fields. A few roaches left. They won't be able to pick off this whole army head on, so he will have to actually use his burrow micro quite efficiently here. And targeting the Immortal, very important because it does huge damage to the roaches. Only 1 sentry left. He has enough energy for 1 force field, but it does go down. And a few Stalkers left for WhiteRa here. An Immortal, 3 Stalkers, and 1 cannon. Might be able to hold this. He needs to pull his probes right now, or he will not be able to. More roaches streaming in for Idra. On 3 bases, he has a huge production. Now 2 cannons go down, and he can safely burrow and pick off the remaining of the rest of these Stalkers. I believe this will be GG for WhiteRa, of course, because there is no detection here. His observer just now making his way, and there goes GG. Idra wins this game in a convincing fashion. Mass producing roaches on 3 bases, taking the best of his opponent WhiteRa. Hopefully you enjoyed this cast, guys. I will be casting a lot more soon and posting them on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and until next time.